Welcome to the good side of the room.
I know it. That's what everybody says. The fun side.
There it
See?
Well, see, I was the fun side over here. Get away from you.
Usually have to go to
Thanks, pretty good. How about yourself?
Sure. Sit in there, don't retype it. Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I think mine's almost ready. Okay, you guys ready? Nobody over there. Brian, you ready?
Yep.
All right. We will go ahead, call our city council regular business meeting to order. This is Thursday, March 7th, 2024. It is 6:01 PM. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Here.
Brown, Poole,
Here.
Livingston, Minneke.
Here.
Mayor Phillips.
I'm here as well. We do have a quorum, so we'll move on. Item number 2 is Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Would anybody like to move any of the consent agenda items to the regular agenda? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Cool, seconded by Minneke. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same. Motion carries. Item number 4, we have presentation. Chief Matola is here tonight from Westcom to give us a little presentation about Westcom. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir. What I'm gonna do is basically do a quick review of our 2023 annual report in a tailored version for Norwalk. Many people in the room know what Westcom is, many people don't. And that's what we're gonna talk about, but they wanted to introduce myself. We hadn't officially met except onesie-twosies. I am Udo Mintola. I'm an emergency number professional and registered public safety leader. I'm gonna just flash through my career really quick on the screen for everybody to see. 22 years retired Air Force veteran, 19 years in volunteer fire rescue and EMS services, retiring as a division chief. And since then, 27 years in public safety. This is kind of the public safety bio. Started in 1997 when I retired out of the Air Force. Been a director, administrator, deputy director, many titles. And then around 2006, I went into the consulting side of the service, helping with Washington DC's United Combined Joint Communication Center. Then off to Amtrak Police, Baltimore, Washington International Airport, fire and rescue, computer dispatch in the country of Belgium, which has started my international career, which the next section covers, with a one stint in Christian County, my home county, as a deputy director. Again, we combined 2 911 centers and a police dispatch into one. Off to Saudi Arabia, went there in 2015, just left there last spring or March actually, and came here on March 20th of last year. So my anniversary is coming up soon. That's kind of a brief bio. What is Westcom? Westcom, we're a recognized statewide leader in general public safety. One thing I want to touch base here, I'm going to just touch on like one item of each. Don't want to read you the whole thing. You guys have the paper copies and Luke has the video digital copy. Top tier training. We are the only public safety communication center in the state of Iowa that is nationally accredited and certified. Nobody in Iowa. We are one of 77 in the entire United Nations that holds that distinctive title. Even ILEA and them do not hold the same title. which was all came about because providing quality of service to the 6 cities who are our member partners that basically own and guide us. Our mission is always to be routing life-saving information. Statistically, in 2023, we answered 98% of all our calls, 911 calls coming in center in 15 seconds or less. 99% in 20 seconds or less. So we're proud of that statistic. The rule is 90% or the national standard is 90% for both. And we're far above that. Our guiding principles is service, collaboration, teamwork, and transparency. We're here to serve. That's what we're here for. That's what we do every single day. No matter what your crisis is, we stay calm, provide service and assistance in everything that we do. One of the things we want to talk about in front of all the councils as I make my rounds this month is the future. We have strategic plans, and as you well know, every strategic plan has a funding part of it. And I'll let Luke, I'm sure he's explained to you guys the percentage and all that. I'm not going to go into that, but we have 3 major strategic plans. We have a safety governance plan. Right now, Westcom is not even an entity by the 2018 agreement. We are basically, you could consider us a service arm of the 6 cities. We want to become an independent organization and at the same time establish independent funding models. The only funding mechanism we have is the 6 cities, period. And it's based on, every city is based on the population equation that was agreed to in the 2080 agreement. We also get state 911 service or surcharge funds, as they call them. However, they've been short for the last 5 years.
At least.
I only got here 1 year ago, but statistically, I can see back 5 years that the state fund has always been short of the expenditures. And unfortunately, there's some legislative bills being pushed right now that will make that even worse. But we'll try. The limitation right now is the codes don't give us alternative funding mechanisms. So we got to think outside the box. Service expectation. We're working on getting our CALIA certification, which is the Commission Association of Law Enforcement Agencies, which also has a public safety communication piece. This is how you become accredited and certified. It's top tier, top of the rank. It's a 4-year process. We're about 2 years into it. And we're working hard to reach that goal. 5-year technology refresh plan, as we call it. We've already drafted it. It's done. Right now we're trying to put a timeline to it because, I can't buy everything in 1 year. Especially when you're talking about communication towers, even the water tower here in Norwalk, you guys know what it costs. In the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years, we're going to need 2 more towers, 2 more radio sites with the growth of everything. And those right now are 1.5 million apiece. So it's not something you can just ask for. You're going to have to plan for it. And we have some other technological things that we need to do. Most importantly is our growth strategy. We're increasing our staffing, thankful to the management committee. I asked for 6 additional people. They gave me 4. I'm very appreciative of that. 2 on staff and 2 more telecommunicators delayed till 2025. So we can kind of stretch it out. This is all, our staffing growth is all about quality of life, stress, mental health, everything to get the people a break. It's a tough job. Our goal is to remove our supervisors from being tied to a console. Right now in minimum staffing, they are part of the staff. Our goal is to move them away from that so they can actually be a supervisor and do supervisory things and assist and help and when the crisis hits, or, Norwalk police goes into a car chase, or fire has a major structure fire or something, that he can be the orchestrative leader and guide and lead everybody to what's going on. The biggest thing we're working on is a new facility. I presented a facility improvement plan to the committee last month. It generated quite a energetic discussion. Because it's a big expense, simple as that, Right now, just based off square footage that we need, we're probably talking $15 to $20 million. We're going to do our best to keep that down. We have a follow-up meeting, basically a financial strategy meeting planned for next week, to bring together and say, okay, what are our options? Building a new facility is not an option. It's going to take too long, too much effort. So, and there's a lot of good buildings in the metropolitan area that could fit our needs if retrofitted properly. So that's the process we're going to go down. We've looked at several buildings, and there's quite a few that are available out there. It wasn't something for me to bring up to the committee yet because I didn't have a plan. Now I have a plan. Now we got to figure out how best in this decreasing revenue budget of the cities from the state and everything that we can reach a tolerance and an agreement. I have a 5-year plan. It may get stretched. We'll see. Computer aided dispatch. This is the Norwalk statistics from 2023. I'm pretty sure the chiefs have probably already covered all these with you. But I just wanted to show them in here that you guys are definitely on a steady growth plan. You had a good jump in 22, 23, and 24 stats are already ahead of 23 stats. So things are growing. You know that is better than I do. Here's the 5-year statistics looking from our point of view at Westcom, based on the 911 call volume. We took a dip in 22. But in 23, it bounced right back up. Again, the 24 stats are ahead 23. Right now, we're servicing, like we said, 6 cities, a population of around 184,000 total, not counting the weekend warriors and tourists and visitors to the city, which right now are occupying the hotels at 66% on weekends and special events, which influxes about 120 to 150,000 extra people per day on top of us. So that's why we got to grow. We got to get out of the basement where we're at and grow. One things I wanted just to throw in here is language barriers. We took over 1,361 calls last year from language of 25 different languages, Spanish being the highest, and Tagarin is the next, and Arabic comes in as number 3rd. We do contract with an outside agency that's able to provide 200 plus language interpolations for us. But just to most people don't realize how much that is. And if you do the math on 14,919 minutes, that's a little over 200 hours tied up in language translation. We have a video to play. We're going to try to play it. If not, Luke and the city clerk have it, and I'm sure they can share it. And this is an awareness video that we prepared about Westcom and the services that we provide.
Westcom 911, what's the address of your emergency?
When you dial 911, you set many people in motion depending on your emergency. Hi, I'm Jessica Klinker, the Training and Quality Assurance Coordinator here at Westcom Emergency Communications. When you call 911, you are immediately connected to a public safety telecommunicator. In the cities of West Des Moines, Clive, Urbandale, Norwalk, Waukee, or Windsor Heights, you will reach Westcom Dispatch. Westcom Dispatch is a consolidated center serving those cities for police, fire, and EMS departments. Your call triggers a chain of events, starting with explaining the situation to the public safety telecommunicator. Once the problem is known, the telecommunicator will then dispatch the appropriate agencies. The better the information you provide, the better prepared emergency responders will be to help you. First, they will ask you the basic questions.
Westcom 911, what's the address of your emergency? Okay, give me the address one more time to make sure I heard you correctly. And what's your first name? And the phone number you're calling me from? Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
These questions help the public safety telecommunicator determine the type of resources that need to be sent. Once those basics have been obtained, your public safety telecommunicator starts help and then relays that information to the emergency responders. Your dispatcher will continue to ask questions. Is he responding normally? How many floors or stories are there? Or what do they look like? The questions we ask do not delay help. Depending on the type of emergency, responders have already been notified and are en route to your location. Now, depending on your emergency, you may have a police officer, ambulance, or fire truck, or any variation arrive to help. The public safety telecommunicator may stay on the phone until responders arrive. They will continue to provide instructions to help you and let the responding personnel know what is going on so they are better prepared to help you upon arrival. Once they arrive, the responders will make contact with you and continue providing help. The public safety telecommunicator will then hang up and help the next caller.
Call me back if anything changes, but keep yourself safe. Thank you.
And if you don't recognize the person sitting in the back of the room, one of our senior supervisors, Peg, was graciously or was hand twisted to do the video. So I am Chief Mentola. I am reachable. Luke and them know how to get a hold of me at any time. If you ever need me for another meeting or something in town, I just live over in Hartford, so I'm close. Any questions?
I just wanted to comment that what a professional organization yours is.
Thank you, sir.
And it's kind of a model really for cooperation between communities, especially the way it works. And it was a big time improvement for us down there to community and as public safety when we were able to get into the system a few years ago. So yeah, you got some challenges ahead though.
Yes, I mean, you know, we're large, we're growing. Regionalization is all about growth. But we have great communities, great agencies that cooperate and share and are there for each other. And even just the other day, we sent West Des Moines Fire all the way into Dallas County because they were out of resources. They had nobody else to help them. And that did not require escalation and approval by all the people. The agencies give us the authority to send. We identify it, we go.
Just as an FYI, Norwalk is about 7% of the total budget for Westcom.
We appreciate every penny. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, item 5 on the agenda is welcome guests and public comment. Thank you all for being here tonight. Go ahead and open up dais for like to address council or myself. Non-agenda items, we'll give you a 3-minute time limit. We can't take action on those tonight since they're not on the agenda. Also, if you'd like to comment on any item in the consent agenda, now would be the time. So do we have any takers? Seeing none, we will go ahead and move ahead. Next is our consent agenda. Tonight, we got expenditures, tax abatements. We have the February 15th, 2024 minutes of the regular city council meeting. We have a special Class C retail alcohol license with outdoor service for Mullet's Concessions LLC. A resolution to approve change order number 1 for the environmental assessment and review project for the North River Interceptor and NRCS easement administration action. A resolution appointing Bill Miller to the Norwalk Board of Adjustment. We have a resolution to approve partial payment number 6 to Thorpe Contracting LLC for the Wright Road Water Main Replacement Project. We have a resolution to approve partial payment number 4 to Progressive Structures LLC for the Northeast Sewer Service Area Lift Station and Trunk Sewer Improvements Project. A resolution authorizing extension of an agreement with Warrior Eats LLC to provide concessions at Norwalk Mackinac Sports Complex. We have a resolution setting March 21st, 2024 for a public hearing to dispose of real property located near Highway 28 and Dubuque Trail. It's a flowage easement in Warren County, Iowa, parcel number 63400300403. And we have correspondence. Can I get a motion?
Make motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Minneke, seconded by Cool. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7. We have old and new business for consideration, discussion, and possible action. Item A is a public hearing for the fiscal year 2025 capital improvement plan. So we'll open up the public hearing at 6:20 p.m. Purpose of this hearing is to get public input on our proposed fiscal year 2025 capital improvement plan, or CIP as you'll hear it called. Gene, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. I have a slide. I'm gonna go through.
If you want to advance a slide yourself, you can use this. Or you can tell me to do it. I'd be happy to.
Show me an IT stuff. and go, "Ooh." I just want to mention that the elected officials, you've probably heard this information several times. It's gonna be a bit redundant. But due to the fact that this is a public hearing, thought I'd kind of go through some of the bigger projects. And just have a 15 slide deck for you. So first of all, I thought I would talk about some of the project financing. The total CIP is just over $20 million. 9.9 million of this will be financed utilizing general obligation bonds. We plan to start that process in the next couple of months and close on that in July. The field house and the public safety HVAC projects were actually approved last fiscal year, but the scope of those projects have changed. So we are adding those to this next bond issue. 1.6 million is local option sales and service taxes. Some of those items are an ambulance, police cars, street and parks maintenance. And the city hall roof, the east section, the west section was completed this year. 8.5 million in public works projects. 6.5 million of that is the water tower, which will be using a state revolving loan fund. The remainder of those public works projects are maintenance on water, sewer, and stormwater systems. 350,000 is TIF capital projects. That's our community, our downtown business improvement grant, the monument entryway sign. We've been talking about that for a long time. Hopefully that will happen this year. And some other community beautification type projects. And then finally, 800,000 from our TIF LMI. We were actually approved to be able to use some of this for a water main project in the Founders District. A really good use of those funds. And then 50,000 for the housing rehab program. So that's just kind of the financing in a nutshell. The next slide is kind of a snapshot showing where the money is being spent, funding by category, if you will. And you'll notice in there, the top 3 are water, sewer, and street. I think this is positive. I think it shows that we are putting new infrastructure in the ground. And then we're actually maintaining also what we have. And that new infrastructure means we're growing. And we have lots of economic development happening. So next slide, the next 12 slides, I'm going to just focus on our larger projects. The first one being the field house. I don't think I need to tell anyone where this is located. This is about a $14 million project. We borrowed 9.5 million in 2022 and we'll borrow the remaining funds this year. Construction is about 88% complete and it's scheduled to be open in late April. We're pretty excited about that. The next slide is the certified site North River Sewer. The current estimate of this project is about 7 million. That's mainly for the sewer portion. I wanted to show this slide to show you, this is just south of Delaware, south of Michael Foods and Windsor Windows. This is about 120 acres. In this particular site, you can see the JB 22, we have a development agreement with them. They're putting in 3 industrial buildings, 2 smaller ones and 1 larger. The sewer for the North River sewer is currently in the design phase. So the next one is the water tower. This budget is about 6.5 million. It's for construction of a new 1.25 million gallon water tower. Land has been acquired just east of Norwalk Central, about 1.6 acres. We closed on that land February 29th. B&K is in the design phase. We are actually authorizing execution of the SRF loan tonight, later in the meeting. And the next slide is the Northeast Sewer Lift Station, which we also have been calling Holland Point. The budget for this is 2 million. This is a lift station and a gravity sewer main. This could potentially serve approximately 200 acres of future development. And this project is about 60% complete. Blue Stem Prairie Sage. The latest estimate is 3.6 million. It's currently in the design phase. This project will begin summer of 2024 and be complete calendar year 2025. The financing for this is we plan on borrowing 2 million in July of this year and 2 million of July of next year to fund the project. Next slide is Golden Valley. The budget is 1.3 million. This is the section between Lakewood and Wakanda Drive. The project has been bid and construction will begin spring of 2024. Next slide is Chatham Signal and intersection improvements. The budget for this is 830,000. This is the intersection to the new field house. This project is approximately 70% complete. The next slide is a project I really probably don't need to talk much about. It's 90% complete, the Beardsley Street and Trail. We are so happy it's open, but I just want to mention it because it's a larger dollar, $5.3 million project. Well worth it. The next slide, this is Cherry Parkway improvements. This is one of those, it could potentially change in scope. So we're going to take a look at it. It's $430,000 is what we have budgeted now. But we're going to wait until fall 2024. Wayne has kind of been thinking of what he wants to do with this. We're going to see how other projects pan out, look at where we are financially before we proceed to see how much we can actually do at this for this particular project. The next 2 slides, so the one is this talks about Maple Heights. We have a development agreement with Lone Tree Communities. Maple Heights water main is budgeted at 900,000, and then Maple Heights sanitary sewer is budgeted at 500,000. These are both in the design phase. These projects are development driven, and the costs of installation will be reimbursed by that developer. Again, this is per our agreement. So for instance, we've already started on the design and have been receiving invoices for engineering. And each month we just send those to the developer for reimbursement. Highway 28 beautification. We're kind of excited about this one. We finally got some numbers from an engineer. The budget for this is 1.5 million. Originally, we had 1 million scheduled for 2024, and then just rough estimates, we were gonna borrow another 1.3 million in 2025. We did get some numbers. Well, actually, we feel like we're doing good. We're under the budget that we had put together. And so we would like to borrow the full amount for this, this July. This will be subject to a reverse referendum because it is a general corporate purpose project. So we'll be bringing that forward for your consideration. So next slide, I feel like I'm being kind of put on the spot here, but because you may have heard of this project, but it's not in the budget. But we have been talking about it for several years. We've kind of pushed it back. based on, we have some space needs. Now that Parks and Rec is moving to the new field house building, Holly is gonna be moving out of City State Bank and moving over here. We're gonna try to move her in this building and house economic development, community development, as well as administration. The project cost estimates are right around 500,000. And we've talked about a lot of different ways to fund this. We are formally going to bring this next council meeting for your consideration, but kind of wanted to put it out there so you could see like the layout and kind of get a little bit of background of why we're bringing it forward. But we've even talked about maybe an internal loan, maybe not borrowing for it, but from our internal funds. Wayne's got tons of extra money in his water and sewer. And just paying it back with lost funds, maybe
Let me
over.
make a note of that.
a period. So anyway, that's just to put that out there. We don't need to discuss it tonight. We will be bringing that forward, but it would house 3 of our departments. With that,
And this is not an architectural drawing. These are mock-up, SketchUp.
Right.
We get started through that
I'm
process.
glad we didn't pay an architect for that.
Yeah.
so does anyone have any questions?
Questions? Any public questions? Lindsay, have we received any oral or written comments on it?
We have not.
Okay.
Yep.
I think we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and close public hearing at 6:31 PM. Item 7B is resolution adopting the City of Norwalk Capital Improvement Plan budget for fiscal year 25. So we just had public hearing for the CIP. Jane, you got anything to add?
No, I do not.
All right, any questions, discussion, comments from council?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Baker, seconded by Cool. Any public comment or further discussion? Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7C. It's public hearing for the Golden Valley Drive Improvements Project. So we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing at 6:32 PM. So the purpose of this hearing is to get public input on plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Golden Valley Drive improvements. This is also the first of several steps required to move this project forward. So Wayne, I'll kind of turn it over to you.
I have nothing to add regarding the project. Unless council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right. Lindsay, have we received any oral or written comments? Do we have any public comment? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and close public hearing at 6:32 PM. Item 7D is a resolution approving plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Golden Valley Drive Improvements Project. So we just had a public hearing for this project. This is the first of 3 resolutions needed to get the project launched. Council passed a resolution that approved the preliminary plan, specs, form of contract, and estimate for this project. This resolution is the final approval for all of those. Wayne, anything to add?
No, sir.
You had to think
The next item.
Next item, okay. Any questions or discussion from council? Or any public comment?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Cool, seconded by Minneke. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7E is resolution of awarding contract for the Golden Valley Drive Improvements Project. So this is the second of the 3 resolutions needed to start the project. This resolution awards the contract to Alliance Construction Group for $745,693.40. Wayne.
Thank you, Mayor. We received 8 bids on the project, so a lot of interest in it, which is a good sign. The engineers have reviewed everything. They've made a recommendation. I will tell you, we need easements from 18 property owners out there from every property owner. We have 13, so there's still 5 remaining. There's no indication they're not gonna sign, but there's still 5 outstanding. I talked to the engineers today. They said if for some reason things were to go south, they can work around what's remaining on the easements. So their recommendation is still to move forward with awarding the project. If some were to come up, we'll work with it and move forward. Alliance Alliance Construction Group's been around a long time. I've heard really positive things. I haven't worked with them in Norwalk, but sounds like they're a reputable company.
Questions or discussion from council? Or any public input?
Motion.
Motion by Cool, seconded by Minneke. Any further discussion? Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7F is resolution approving contract and bond for the Golden Valley Drive Improvements Project. So this is the third and final resolution needed to get the project going. This resolution approves the contract and indicates how the city is going to pay Alliance Construction Group for their work. Wayne, anything to add?
No, sir.
All right, any discussion, questions, comments from council?
You really need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Motion.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Cool, seconded by Minneke. Any further discussion? Lindsay, would you call a roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7G. It's public hearing on an amendment to the Holland Point Plan Unit Development related to parking and garage regulations in the PUD Parcel C. So we'll open up the public hearing at 6:36 PM. Luke's away at training, so I think Elliot's gonna handle this one.
Yep, it's a relatively simple amendment, shown in attachment A of the staff report. Basically, they're requesting language change to permit the R4 apartment uses in the land use parcel C to have one garage space for every 2 dwelling units. So that'd be a 50% ratio. The default for R4 zoning is for 70%. So whatever the unit count is, in this case 84, the standard zoning requirement would be for 70% of that number, which is 59, to be the garage space count. The way they've assembled this site plan, they've got 44, which is equal to about 52% of that total unit number. I sent this off to Luke Nelson before the meeting, just not to get too surgical with counts. But it's the box in green really that we're talking about. All of the townhome units that are in the red, purple, and blue boxes are 100% zoning compliant as presented here. So the only thing that they're looking at is getting that garage requirement reduced a little bit by about 20%. With this site plan concept, we think this makes a lot of sense. P&Z recommended approval. Happy to answer any questions on this. That's all I got.
So since this is a PUD, the vote to do this would only be authorization in this area, this physical area.
Yep, just in this location.
Good question.
But there were some questions at the P and Z meeting too about amending our ongoing. Requirements.
Yes, Planning and Zoning Commission offered up a recommendation that the garage requirement for apartments be reduced permanently.
That's not on, that was right.
No, that'd be another discussion.
That'd be another
Probably
discussion. Yeah.
another time we'd have to look at. I remember when we started this project with Hubble, and I was talking with I think it was a person that was evidently in charge of it then, and they commented it was unlikely that they would build apartments up in that location because it'd be hard to do that profitably. Okay. I think this may have some bearing on that, you know, some motivation why. I guess since we're talking about a PUD in this area here, I don't have any objection to it. I'm concerned to take a look, and we should really think it through, reducing this citywide though.
Great. Okay. Lindsay, have we received any oral or written comments on this?
We have not.
Any other public comment on this item?
Not necessarily public comment, but I'm Kevin Lawyer with Hubble Realty, overseeing this development here in Holland Point. So Elliot, thanks for running through it. I'm just here for any further questions. So
Okay.
if you have any more, by all means. Feel free to
All
ask
right.
them. So happy to clarify. I can get into the nitty gritty if you want, but it's an adequately parked site. The 70% garage requirement for the apartments, something. I don't even know if there are any in the local Denver metro suburbs. As far as even a requirement. But yep, this is an adequately park site, so we're just looking for a solution there. So happy to answer any questions if you have.
All right, thank you.
How big are the garages by chance?
The garages, I knew you were gonna ask that question. Square foot wise, it's about 225 square feet per stall. But then aside from that, you gotta consider that you have a double lane drive aisle that you need to drive out to, and that's generally about 314 square foot. These particular ones are 22 garage stalls. For each of those two that you see just to the left of the apartment units. Those are coming in at about the footprint's about 6,000 or 6,200 square feet. And then just for comparison, the apartment units themselves, the footprint is about a little over 12,000. So I mean, just the footprint of the garage alone, it takes up quite a bit of space. And that's generally, I think you mentioned some of the profitability, even more than that, it's just the area that it takes up for that amount of, garages to supply for this. And even with our other communities around the Des Moines metro, we see that much demand for that much garage for the apartment residents. So that's why we're here today.
Yeah, I never rented a garage when I lived in an apartment. I guess I just left them outside, but you can park a pickup in them.
Yeah, you can.
Big pickup.
Yeah.
1,500. Chevy.
And you're pushing it there, but yeah. That's another reason too. A lot of people have pickups around here, so.
Right. Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:41 PM. Item 7H is the first reading of an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Norwalk, Iowa by amending the Holland Point Plan Unit Development Land Use Parcel C. So we just had the public hearing on this item. Elliot, you got anything to add?
Not really. I guess the only other thing I'd point out is that the trade-off here in terms of parking quantity is losing 15 garages and instead you're getting 25 more surface spots.
Okay.
So it's a net gain in space ultimately.
Okay. Any discussion or comments, questions from council?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, so I got a motion by Cool, seconded by Meineke. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
All right, carries. Item 7H. No, we just did H. 7I, sorry, is a resolution approving preliminary plat of Holland Point, Plat 4. So this is the farthest west plat of Holland Point. This is south of Beardsley, adjacent to Elizabeth Holland Park. Elliot, floor is yours.
Yep, so this preliminary plat contains the area that we just talked about. It's kind of a replat of the original preliminary plat. None of the uses are changing in here. It's always been approved for R1 up to R3, so single family duplex townhome uses. They're maintaining the trail corridor running east-west there and also one going north-south from Beardsley Street. The only real change here is that they've added a cul-de-sac bulb on Cantor Avenue, I think is the way it's labeled on the site plan. Just separating out the uses between this plat here and the higher density portions that we looked at in the previous item. I don't have much else to add. Happy to answer any questions, and it's also Paul's project as well. So,
All right. Any questions, discussion from council? A public comment? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Cool, seconded by Meineke. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7J, resolution approving final plat of Hughesman addition to Hughes Century Crossing. So this is the site for where the Hilton True is going to go. And there's an additional outlot within this plat. Elliot. take it away.
Yep, so this is a minor subdivision, meaning there's no public infrastructure involved. It's essentially taking one lot that already exists and splitting it into two. You guys approved the hotel site plan on lot one a few months back. This would just be the plot creating that lot and the ingress egress easements, serving both. Happy to answer any questions.
Discussion, questions from council? I keep looking that way. But there's nobody there.
So this would make that site eligible for a different development then?
The west half, yes.
Anything else? Any public comment? Can you get a motion?
Motion.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Baker, seconded by Cool. Any further discussion? Lindsay, would you call a roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7K is public hearing to review an application for a state revolving fund loan and to make available to the public the contents of an environmental information document and the city's project plan. So we'll open up the public hearing at 6:46 p.m. The purpose of this hearing is to get public input on submitting an application to SRF to get loan money for the new water tower. And in case you didn't know, well, as Gene said, we own the land for the water tower now, so which is awesome. So I think Forrest Aldrich is here from V&K. I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Mayor. Forrest Aldrich of Eastern Kim. Had a handout I want to just hand out real quick. Gene touched on the site, but this is kind of a little more information about that. Want to pass it around? No?
No, that's okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, okay, there you are.
Hopefully I counted right. So this is a public hearing. This, like the mayor said, this is for financing the project from the state revolving fund loan. That's a low interest loan that is available through the Iowa Finance Authority. And then this public hearing is also on the environmental review. Because of the SRF funding that is part of this, that's federal funding, they're required to do a environmental review of the project. And so on the first page is the lower left is existing water tower. In the upper right is where the new water tower is going. Just so you can kind of see where that's going relative to the rest of the city. The other 4 pages are just kind of zoomed in. They're options we're looking at on how the driveway may get to the water tower. We're discussing those with staff right now. May end up one of those, may end up none of those. It was just kind of what we had available to kind of give a zoomed in version of kind of where that water tower is going to be located. And with that, I just open up if there's any questions from the council or from the public. Here, I'll give Lindsay, here's another copy for council. Baker. Yes.
So has the survey already been completed then on the environmental survey on this site?
That's in process. The public hearing is part of that process of completing that environmental review.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, other questions? Any public questions? Lindsay, we received any oral or written comments on this?
We have not.
All right. Well, hearing none, we'll go ahead and close public hearing at 6:49 p.m.
All right, thank you, Mary.
Item 7L is a resolution authorizing mayor and city clerk to execute the Iowa State Revolving Fund environmental information document. So this resolution just authorizes Lindsay and I to execute the loan application. Lindsay or anybody else, anything else to add? Any questions or comments from council?
You guys do a good job.
We will.
Right, big.
Okay,
Motion.
you got a second?
Second.
Well, I heard a motion. Baker's the second. I'm gonna call Baker the second. Motion by Minneke, second by Baker.
Be that way.
I will be that way. Because it's on the recording. Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, motion carries. So our next 5 items are procedural items, so we may go through these fairly quickly. We're probably not going to talk much about them since council's already passed a resolution on.
What about the info that says you gotta have 4 positive votes?
Yeah.
For more readings.
That's for the possibly more readings for the
No,
first.
I
reading.
meant, I'm talking about the Dorsey stuff. Dorsey lists that we have to have 4 of the 5 council people vote.
We're talking about the Dorsey stuff now.
Huh?
That's what we're on right now is the Dorsey stuff.
Right.
He is correct.
But not to repeal just for the first reading? You have to have 4?
To waive any more.
I think it's
Yeah, I think that's.
Just to waive,
Yeah.
just to waive the second and third readings, you have to have 4 here.
Yes.
That is not what I read. Just a minute, let me pull it up. here.
All right.
Please.
Jim
Okay,
can clear.
if you, yeah, if you guys have read it, it's faster than, I was just looking at it and Dorsey talked about it. To do any of them, you needed 4 of 5
The
positive
waiver,
votes.
the waiver requures.
The waiver,
affirmative vote.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got an
Okay.
attorney right here. We could ask him.
Will he tell us?
He's kind of skating.
I can't tell you that.
You want to weigh in?
Like, you are correct, Mayor. Simple majority can take care of 1 reading. To have more than 1 reading or to waive those, it would take 4 council members, which we do not have present tonight.
Okay. You okay, Brian?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, good.
And Mayor, just to let you know, if for some reason we hear something different from our bond council, it just may mean we have to come back and redo some of these items.
You know, but their letter's pretty accurate when you read it.
Yeah.
It says that it was prepared assuming that we were gonna waive readings,
Right.
Okay,
but we were good.
we're good
We are good for the first reading.
for the first reading.
Yep.
So I'm not going to ask for a second or third waiving.
That's
So,
right.
Just do it.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so we've passed a resolution repealing these. Now we need to go back and just because of Dorsey and Whitney, we need to actually formally repeal the ordinances. Note that this repetitive process appears somewhat messy, but is the recommendation of our bond council to meet state law requirements and to keep information clear for the county auditor's office. So any more?
Nope, that's good.
Okay. So are there any questions from council on what we're doing with these next 5 items?
Mayor, I might just add that the funds have been diverted to the appropriate place on the appropriate dates. This is strictly a formality.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because by law, these things expire anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a couple of years,
I-
They've been
Yeah.
expired for a
Yes.
couple of years. For the most part.
Yep. Okay.
I see
So
where
here
I
we go.
screwed up.
Huh?
I see where I screwed up.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so here we go. 7M. This is the first reading of an ordinance repealing ordinance number 99-01, providing for the division of taxes levies on taxable property in the 1999 edition, which is the Legacy and Colonial Meadows, to the Norwalk urban renewal area. Can I get a motion to approve the ordinance as
I'll
presented?
make said motion.
Second.
Okay, so I got a motion by Cool, seconded by Minneke. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7N. It's first reading of an ordinance repealing ordinance number 00-16, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the amendment to the 1999 edition, which is the Norwalk Business Center, to the Norwalk urban renewal area. Can I get a motion to approve the ordinance as presented?
Motion. Second, I'll second.
Whatever.
Okay,
Give it to Baker, I'll second.
well, motion by Baker, second by Cool. Kind of divvy it out. Would you call a roll?
Yep.
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7O is first reading of an ordinance repealing ordinance number 00-17, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the 2000 edition, the legacy plat 16 to 20 to the Norwalk urban renewal area. Can I get a motion to approve the ordinance as presented?
Motion.
Second.
All right, motion by Minneke, seconded by Cool. Lindsay, would you call a roll?
Councilmember Minneke.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. 3 down, 2 to go. Item 7P is first reading of an ordinance repealing ordinance number 02-12, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property and the amendment to the amended 1999 edition, which is Legacy and Colonial Meadows various plats to the Norwalk urban renewal area. So can I get a motion to approve the ordinance as presented?
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Cool, seconded by Baker. Lindsay, would you call a roll?
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Minneke.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Last but not least, 7Q. It's first reading of an ordinance repealing ordinance number 03-14, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the 2003 edition, Zeco Valley, to the Norwalk urban renewal area. Can I get a motion to approve the ordinance as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Minneke, seconded by Cool. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Cool.
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 8 is future agenda items. So the purpose for this item is for council to give direction to staff by way of motion to have items placed on future agendas. Anybody have anything? Hearing none, we'll go on to item 9 is council inquiry staff updates. Jim, you get to go first.
Nothing.
Brian?
What did you guys do with all the council members?
You flew away.
They're both on a plane.
They're both out.
Different planes.
Okay. Hey, I was wanting to know, a lot of times we cancel for spring break and I didn't see anything written in there. What's going on?
Well, spring break is next week and we don't have a council meeting, so we're gonna go
Okay.
ahead and have council meeting the following week.
On the regular time?
Yep.
Okay, once I showed up and no one was there, so I just always ask.
That's fair.
And here we showed up tonight.
Yeah.
Who wasn't here?
Yeah, exactly.
This sounds suspicious.
All right. Anything else, Brian?
No.
Storage.
No, I'll say no.
Yeah, all right. Ed?
Had the first Bravo meeting
Yeah.
and an interesting group. And there are several grant opportunities. I relayed those to city staff. And maybe long range, they're looking for a performing arts center somewhere in the metro. They're very interested in that. And I was thinking, we're looking at possibility of having something up in the town center.
Yeah.
So possibly over the next few years, we could take a look at discussing that with them and see if there's possibility.
Sounds good.
The other thing, I just comment now for a work session. Sometime. I'd like you to consider having our definitions that we use on zoning, a discussion of those. I'd like to take a look at maybe making those narrower and having a finer edge on that. I'd also like to have someone bring back our overall plan, for the city, our zoning map, so that we can discuss it and it'll be hopefully clear for us as well as the new council members. And I think that'd be nice to do during a work session.
Okay.
It's gonna take more time than I think we can stick onto a council meeting.
So you're saying like just the overall comp plan discussion?
Yeah, I'd like that, and probably the staff be able to explain, right, answer question. And I don't know as we need anybody from outside. And then a real good discussion and review what those terminologies mean. We're talking about zoning, what's included in those things and what's not. You know?
Okay.
But other than that, that's all I was gonna bother you for. Thank you.
Are you talking like all the setbacks and side distances and all that kind of stuff?
Well, some of that will come into, that's right. Some of that stuff will actually come into play, as we talk about these different things. But also, you know, we throw phrases out there like medium density. There's a lot of stuff involved in medium density. And I don't know if we've really thought through all the different things that are included in it. So, I'd like to have a tighter handle on some things, being able to say where they go, you know. But I just think it'd be good for the council to understand, to discuss, and maybe formulate an opinion.
Yeah. So Elliot, would you get with Councilmember Cool? Kind of clarify that piece of it and then.
Yeah, because I think we're gonna spend some time together tomorrow.
Yep.
Anyways.
Okay.
And my daughter hired a new driver, so I'll be more available.
Really? She fired you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out of the delivery business for a little while.
All right.
Back on the golf course, maybe a little time at City Hall.
Excellent.
I hope.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, sir, that's it.
All right, Elliot.
I'm just gonna talk about something I just found out about. We had, the mayor and I communicated with, Stan Gustafson, one of the representatives for the area, on a bill that is being proposed at the State House related to stormwater regulation that would essentially clamp down the ability for cities to, self-govern, for their own situations, and the bill was voted down last night at the State House. So just thanks to the mayor for backing me up on that. I've been emailing Stan for a little while now, and he's on the committee that was overseeing that bill go to the State House. So communicating with local leaders does have an effect. It's important to do that and exercise our privilege in the positions we have. Just wanted to report that. Yeah, nothing else.
You know how he voted?
I don't have that breakdown in front of me, but it was voted down 49-44. It's not dead yet, but
yeah,
it didn't move on so far.
Okay.
I want to know how he voted.
Yeah, we can just ask him.
Not that I hold a grudge.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. Carrie.
Nothing tonight.
Wayne.
You may have seen, we had a small water main oil advisory issued this week. That was in the Legacy area. Just wanted to update you. Everything came back clean on that. That was a contractor working for Legacy, that private water main repair occurring, but they had an issue that we had to do the boil advisory. So wasn't your city staff at play there. That is all.
Okay, thank you. Chief.
I appreciate you getting on that right away too.
Welcome.
Nothing tonight.
All right, Chief. Oh, sorry, Tony. Wow.
Nothing here, thanks.
All right, now Chief.
Yeah, just a quick success story. You may or may not know it, but part of our COPS grant work is to assist immigrants to the community with assimilating and building trust and legitimacy between the immigrant community and the police department. And part of that work has been with students at the high school. When I realized that adults that come here with children and don't speak English, the kids learn English faster, and I can communicate with the adults through their children. And so our school resource officers have taken it to heart, and they work really closely with these immigrant kids. And they've established relationships with the Christian church, who's teaching adult English classes and citizenship classes. Well, there's been a young man at the high school who's not doing well because his English isn't great. And he's just kind of floundering at the high school. So today, Officer Criswell told me that yesterday, he took the young man and had introduced him to the Christian church ladies and talked to them about his struggles and his mother's struggles with English. And then they connected with Main Street School, and the young man spent the afternoon at the Main Street School and did way better, felt more comfortable, more at ease. And so I think the relationship created by the school resource officers, by the impetus of the COPS grant, is going to allow this young man to attend Main Street School and learn his English and have a better school environment than what he was able to function in at the high school. And the mother is going to be able to attend English classes at the Christian church and work on her citizenship.
Great.
So it was just a whole community-wide effort. Not saying it wouldn't have happened without the COPS grant, but the COPS grant itself and what we said we would do if we were awarded officers was the impetus behind it. So that was just a good success story. And speaking of the COPS grant, we're trying to hire people. And today we went to DMAC for a job fair for adjustment students. As well attended. We got contacts with a lot of young people who are interested in career in law enforcement. And it's a good thing that that fair was today, because yesterday we announced the hiring process to try and fill the slot. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Gene, Kelly? No, all right. Holly?
I'm at liberty to say right now. Just saying.
Oh.
Watching the news for the next couple of weeks.
Watch the news for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right, Robin?
March 11th, they should start installing the floor at the field house. Right now, estimated completion date is April 7th. Of the field house. Monday, staff will start prepping the fields at Macinich, and we're currently interviewing and hiring the seasonal staff.
Awesome. They should have a great weather Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Prep in the field. Yeah, that's good. Awesome. Thank you. Lindsay?
We need census workers.
All right. Yes,
We have
we do.
14 applicants, so we're getting better. They've lowered our number, but we do need 22, so. Anybody
I have a
wants to
question
serve
for you on
the
that.
census? Yeah,
Would it be possible to only work 15 hours?
yes.
Because it says in there 25 and I can't talk her into 25. So only 15.
Yeah, actually, the mayor and I had a call with the director of the census just this week. And she said, I think it seemed to me as if people could absolutely pick their hours, because she made mention some people will only want to work for 15 hours.
Right.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
Some people might want to work for the first week or
Yeah, or 10 days or whatever it may be. So encourage everyone you know to apply. And no,
Okay,
city staff cannot apply to be census worker. I'm sorry.
Art?
Art.
Art, just
Art.
did something for you today.
That'd be a good one.
Hmm.
Right there.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right, Luke.
Just a couple things quick. First of all, Robin and I, Jim, Gene, we had a pretty intense meeting with DeNovo today about a number of change orders that are going to come up at a future meeting. So I'm just kind of giving folks a heads up. I felt like we had a pretty intense meeting about some of them. I will say a majority of the change orders, they did a good job of explaining, but we expect to have representatives from DeNovo here at the next meeting to step through those change orders. And I believe Robin's going to work on an agenda statement for each one where we will provide you with a recommendation. So just a heads up that those are heading this way.
Should be a fun meeting.
Yeah. The other thing is I just want to let council members know my schedule's been pretty hectic lately. Usually I do a better job of communicating, getting out, having some one-on-ones with you, and I just haven't been able to do that. Things are busy with the city, a lot of activity. Maybe something to do with some of those announcements that will come up in the next couple of weeks. Thank you, Gene, for bringing up the city hall remodel. We know that that's something, it felt kind of strange that we've been all the way through budget season and CIP and, oh, this pops up. But I'm glad that she brought up this, first started discussions back in 2020. So as we went into COVID and folks started going home, it just dropped to the wayside. But with the changes with field house and whatnot, I appreciate you bringing that up, kind of being on the firing line right in front of for all of us.
Especially knowing Wayne's got extra money.
Yeah, well, that makes it, that takes the edge off. The last thing I'll bring up, in case some of you have seen or heard, if you get around that Legacy area, you see a lot of flags and markings that are out in the right of way. MetroNet, another fiber provider, is coming to town, which is great news, but it's not without some hiccups because residents are pretty concerned about seeing all those flags. We've got quite a few calls at City Hall. So if you get some phone calls about that, in the Legacy area, they're working, but expect MetroNet to move throughout the community doing that kind of thing. So we'll continue to get a lot of calls on that. That's all I have.
Speaking of MetroNet, they were in my backyard. Putting in, they had several hand dug holes. This was like Tuesday night. I went out there Wednesday afternoon and looked. I could barely tell where they were. So the restoration was fantastic. For my yard, my neighbor said the same thing. So in my area, restoration was fantastic.
That's good to hear. Wayne and I want to say it's been 2 or 3 years ago that we met with them when we first started that agreement. And that was one of the things that we told them, 2 things, communication and final restoration.
Yeah.
Those 2 things seem to be the most critical for citizens.
Other than the paint in my yard, I wouldn't be able to tell it was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got some nice arrows.
All right, question. This section of the roof is done. There were lights outside. Are those going to be put back up?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good deal. And for Senate File 455 in the House.
Stan voted no.
Stan voted no. Yeah.
There you go. All right, good for Stan.
I just thanked him, so.
Okay, good. All right. That's all I have. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Baker, seconded by Meineke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed,
Aye.
same. We are adjourned, 7:12 PM.
Right.